Hello, everyone. I'm CJ Blaquera of cjblaquera.com. I'm a life coach, and I specialize in effective permanent weight loss for smart, intelligent women who, while high achieving, are frustrated with their weight and are ready to stop struggling, lose the weight, and keep it off. If I could show you how to improve your relationship with your mom, would you be open to looking at a different way of relating to her than you have in the past? If I could teach you how to reduce the friction and frustration you feel with regard to your mom, would you be open to trying out some new ideas? And if I could show you how you could be happy and your mom didn't have to change at all, would you be open to that possibility? In this teleclass and webinar, I'm going to teach you 8 steps that you can use when you think your mom is being critical of you, you feel judged by her, or you feel that she just doesn't get you, so that you will leave the call with an exact sense of being in charge of your own happiness, regardless of what she's doing or saying, and you can live precisely the amazing life that you want to live. Now, just 3 years ago, I could not be around my own mom without a feeling of dread, without turning into a moody teenager after about 30 seconds of her walking in the door, and without my blood boiling within a few minutes of talking to her. And it felt like almost everything she said was a piece of barbed wire scraping across my skin and was some kind of a veiled insult or a judgment or criticism and proof that I was doing my life all wrong and that I was all wrong. Then when she left, oh, let the complaining begin. Not only begin, but go on and on and on and on. My panties would be all up in a wad recounting every piece of barbed wire that I had felt. And then I made a decision that I was done with the misery over my mom and the past. And now, as opposed to avoiding her or going for long periods without even talking to her, I actually want to see her, and I can enjoy very easygoing visits. And then after she leaves, I pretty much go on with my life happily and peacefully. So I believe there is no reason to suffer over your mom or your relationship with her. And I'm going to share with you my 8-step friction to freedom formula. So listen carefully during my talk, as chances are you will learn exactly what is currently holding you back in achieving peace and freedom in your relationship with your mom. So for today, I'm going to start by sharing actually, hang on. I think I have some housekeeping here. I'll keep the line open unless there is, actually, I'm not going to keep the line open. The line's going to be closed. And you may type questions or comments in the box to the right if you're checking in via the internet and you're watching the webinar. And at the end, or during the periods of time where I do Q&A, I will open the line to take any questions from you. So I'm going to share one of my mom's stories, and it's going to be very innocuous to you, very benign. You're probably going to say that's ridiculous. It's going to be very easy for you to see because you have an objective viewpoint. You're not inside your story, and it's a lot harder for us when we're inside our own story and we have all of our beliefs and opinions and our own perspective about something that someone else doesn't have. It's just very much clearer from the outside. So you're not in it, and that's a good thing. You are going to be able to see my own cray-cray, my own crazy making, and you will also see how I made my own blood boil, how I do it. And my hope is that you will see yourself in the story and you will be able to take away something for yourself in your own relationship with your mom. And as I said, it doesn't matter whether she's still on the planet or if she's deceased, because that relationship lives in your mind. And if she is deceased and you think that she is in any way affecting your life now, that's all happening in your mind, and that is what can be changed. So the fact, whatever she did when she was alive and the fact that she's dead, that can't be changed. But your relationship to her can be, and your relationship and viewpoint about your past can be. And my father is deceased, so I know this very well because my relationship with my father has been transformed. So, and he wasn't, that was all up to me, not him. So let me begin. My story begins with a day about 2 years ago when my mom was going to help me out by going and running an errand for me of grocery shopping. And I get handed her my credit card to pay for the groceries. And she took the credit card, but she had a very puzzled look on her face. And she said, how am I supposed to pay for the groceries with a credit card? And this didn't really compute to me, but I said, there'll be I think she said, I don't use a credit card to pay for groceries, like in her own life. And I said, there will be, and I'm thinking it's so abundantly clear how you use a credit card to pay for groceries. There's a terminal at the checkout and you'll just swipe the card. And she says, but the card doesn't have, it has your name on it. It doesn't have my name on it. And I said, that's fine. They're probably not going to ask you anything about it. Just swipe the card and pay for the groceries. But if they do, show them your driver's license and we both have the same last name. And then she said to me, no, but isn't that going to throw up some red flags? And I'm thinking, what is going on here? Like, what alternative universe does she live in? What are you talking about? Red flags with a credit card and groceries and same last name? Like, there's nothing untoward happening here. And I said, just tell them, if they think that this is red flags, just tell them that you're buying groceries for your daughter. And then she said, well, I don't want them to call the police. And I could not believe that she was that's where her mind went. And I thought, police, what is going on? And then she said, I'll pay cash and you can pay me back. And so clearly she was very uncomfortable with this idea of using my credit card. So I said, here, let me give you some cash. And she paid for the groceries. So that's my story. And mom went to the grocery store. She was a happy camper. She did the errand. She helped me out. It was tremendous. And however, I was fuming. I was livid. I had steam coming out of my ears. I complained to my partner, to my man, and just like, does she live under a rock? What is she? She think I'm a criminal mastermind? What is going on? It's like she thought I was some criminal syndicate running a credit card scam racket, and this was worthy of the police, needing to come out. So I was very miserable and very upset. So let's start with a premise. And my premise is this: everything we do is motivated by a desire to feel good. Everything we do is motivated by a desire to feel good. So I work with overweight women who want to lose weight because they want to feel attractive, confident, like a success. They're tired of feeling out of control and feeling like a failure. The reason they want to lose weight is because they think it's going to feel good. And I feel that, and that is behind every motivation that we have. We don't do anything that we don't think is going to lead eventually in some way, shape, or form to our feeling better or our feeling good. So step one in the formula is to remember that I want to feel good. So all of you listening or watching, you want to feel good. Let's just accept that. That's the basis for everything. So if we want to feel good, we need to know what causes our feelings, what causes those better emotions, what causes us to feel relief, what causes us to feel improved in our emotional life. And often what we think, what causes our feelings, is what other people say, what other people do, someone doing something to us or toward us. We might think that it is bosses or our moms, or if we're driving in traffic or there's been an accident or another driver drives in front of us, brakes in front of us, we might think that they're causing our feelings. Certainly the folks that are experiencing road rage think that it's the other people on the road that are causing them to feel road rage. My clients, women and women who are overweight, will think that the fat is causing their feelings. Think that's what makes them feel so horrible about themselves. So we might think people or situations are causing our feelings. However, excuse me. So we might think that they're causing our feelings, and this is the way that we think it. Like our boss gives us a promotion and we feel excited. Our mom makes a comment and we feel deflated. So maybe that comment we interpret as being criticism or judging us or indicating that we're doing something wrong. So then we would feel deflated. Traffic going 25 miles per hour on a freeway. We have somewhere to go. It's really impeding our progress. We're going to get there late. Maybe there's a meeting at work and we're not going to make it there. Or maybe this is our commute on a daily basis, and we over and over again think that it's a big waste of time. So then we'll feel irritated. So we think it's the traffic and we're irritated, or we gain weight and we feel deflated, or we lose weight and we feel thrilled. So we might think people or situations are causing our feelings, but that is not actually the case. What really causes our feelings is our thoughts and beliefs. And let me give you some definitions. The definition of a thought is a sentence we think in our mind. So this traffic sucks, or I should be in control. I should be able to lose weight. I should have, as one of my recent clients said, I should have my shit together. When we think a particular thought, then we feel a particular way. And a definition of a belief is a thought we think over and over. So a thought is simply a sentence that we think in our mind, and a belief is a well-worn one, a thought that we're very familiar with and that we think over and over in our mind. And then it becomes our beliefs. So the definition of a feeling is a vibration in our body. And so if some folks will say, I don't really understand what you mean by a vibration in our body. And if you think about, the easiest way for me to explain is kind of a visceral experience for yourself. If you think about grief versus enthusiasm, grief tends to be slower, thicker, denser, heavier. It has that feeling about it. And enthusiasm is much lighter, thinner, faster moving, and it has a different feeling. And if you also think about a piano, like when you have high C, low C, middle C, that has a different frequency, and the frequency is vibrating at a different speed, I believe it's megahertz per second. So a feeling is simply a vibration in our body, and our thoughts and beliefs cause our feelings. So we think a thought in our mind, and then we feel the vibration in our body. So the thought that this shouldn't be happening usually doesn't feel that great, and we feel a certain way in our body, maybe resistance, maybe frustration, irritation, or everything's working out, this is going perfectly. We might feel a lot more enthusiasm, excitement, calm, peace, in the flow. Different vibration completely. So we create our feelings with our thoughts. So the way that it actually looks is we'll think, hey, I got the new job. I'm so excited. And we think the job caused us to feel excited. But what happened was we thought a thought, like if the boss promoted us and we get a new job description, we get a higher salary. The thought that we think and the belief that we have is I'm valued. And then we feel excited, or then we feel confident. We feel however that feels to us, like I'm valued. They noticed what I'm doing. I'm appreciated. I'm doing a good job. And then you feel some version of positive emotion. That's what's actually causing the feeling. It's not the fact that you're now the director of operations. It's the belief I'm valued, I'm appreciated, they like what I'm doing. So let's say your mom says something. So your mom says a sentence and we interpret it as, oh, that sentence of maybe she walks into my house and she says, oh, it looks like you must be really busy and haven't had time to clean the house. And then we go, oh, that's like just an arrow to the heart. And she's judging me, she's criticizing me. And it's not that she said, oh, it looks like you've been busy, you haven't had a chance to clean the house. It's not that at all. What it is the thought, I'm wrong, or I'm doing it wrong, or she thinks something's wrong, and then we might internalize that to I'm wrong. So our mom says something, if we believe I am wrong, I'm doing it wrong, she thinks I'm doing it wrong, that's what causes us to feel deflated. It's not those 5 or 6 words that came out of her mouth. It's our thought inside our head that we believe that causes us to feel deflated. And I'm wrong will do it every time, ladies. Now, cars on the road, traffic. So I'm just bringing it to a more neutral state, like cars on the road. They're just on the road. They're not in charge of your emotional life at all. Cars on a road can't cause you to think anything. But if you think, what a waste of time, and you start going into calculations in your mind, like this is at minimum an hour each way in the morning. I use 2 hours, 5 days a week, 10 hours, that's 40 hours a month. Multiply that times 12 months out of the year. Oh my gosh, what a waste of time. I could be doing with this time. That is what causes you to feel irritated, thinking, what a waste of time. If you didn't think that anything was going wrong, if maybe there was some event or some that you didn't want to go to, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, what an amazing excuse to show up late. What an amazing excuse to get out an hour of that meeting, or an hour of that party that I don't want to go to, or an hour, if you have a frustrating time with your mom, to get out of an hour of that you would normally have to spend with your mom. You might think, this is amazing. Love this traffic. So it depends on our point of view. But if we're thinking and believing what a waste of time, that's what's causing us to be irritated. So if we gain weight, very strong tendency with my clients, and I know this very well, when we gain weight, I know this from the inside, to feel like I'm a failure. If I gain weight, that means I'm a failure. The problem is not that, oh, the scale is up 1.2 pounds. What causes my deflation is when I believe I'm a failure. Vice versa, when I lose weight, or when someone loses weight, often there is the idea I'm a success. And it's not the weight. It's not that it's down 2 pounds. It's not a number on a scale. It's not a piece of machinery or a glass scale that's sitting on the floor. It's the belief I'm a success. It's the thought I'm a success that you believe in, and that's what's thrilling. That's what's exciting. That's what makes you feel confident. So step 2 is to remember that how I feel is created by how I think. Now, I realized that there was a time that this is a complete shift in coming up to present time and understanding what's causing our thoughts and beliefs. And what I have here on the screen is a picture of like Earth, the belief that Earth is flat, and like this waterfall falling off the edge of the Earth. And so there was a time when we believed that the Earth was flat. But what now we know is that the Earth is round. And I think that this shift, this realizing what actually causes our feelings, can be as paramount as changing our belief that the Earth is flat to the Earth is round. It's that dramatic, and it's that significant, and it changes everything. My thoughts and beliefs create my feelings. It's not mom. It's not my boss. It's not my lover. It's not my pet. My thoughts and beliefs create my feelings. Just in case you have any questions, I'll just give a moment or two so I can speak to that. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to mute the line, and I will move on. So let's take the story that I told earlier about me and my mom. Let's tell the story a different way. So now that we know that my thoughts create my feelings, let's tell that story through my thoughts. This is going to help me identify my thinking, and it's going to help me see what I'm causing myself to feel. And what I'm causing myself to feel, whether it's anger, irritation, defensiveness, is going to be caused by my thinking. So looking at the story through my thoughts is going to be very powerful for me. So what we have is what my mom says, just the black and white, what my mom says here on the left, and then me on the right, what I think inside of me. So let me just close my screen. Okay, so she says, how do I, she's going to help me out by going to the grocery store and buying some groceries for me. So how do I use a credit card to pay for groceries? So in my mind, I think she should know how to do this. Like, hello, you pay for credit card, for groceries with a credit card, like you pay for gas, like you pay for anything. This is common. You know, this was like 2011. This is just 3 years ago. This is not novel. So I feel very irritated and very condescending because I think she should know how to do this. This is so simple. This is not rocket science. And I'm very irritated and I start to get a little condescending. So she says, but the credit card has your name on it. Just, that's all she says. And I think she should just do what I say. Like, this is so simple. Just do it. Just do what I say. Use the credit card to buy the groceries. And I start to feel, because that's my point of view, pushy and impatient. And now, then she says, isn't that going to send up red flags that it's not her name on the credit card? And I'm thinking, this is not a big deal. But the most painful piece is thinking she doesn't trust me. She's like, okay, so clearly she doesn't pay for groceries with a credit card. She doesn't know how this works, but I'm not asking her to do anything horrible. And she doesn't trust me. She won't just trust me to just swipe the card and pay for the groceries. And when I think my mom doesn't trust me, now I'm getting offended and I'm getting defensive because I'm believing she doesn't trust me. Then she says, well, I don't want them to call the police. And now I'm thinking, whoa, she is what is going on here? She thinks I'm suggesting something really wrong, really, really wrong. Like my mom thinks, what does she think? I'm immoral? What's going on? And this is just causing more defensiveness, more of my feeling offended and being appalled by what she's doing. But this is all going down in my head, right? She's worried about the police coming, and I'm thinking, what do you think? I'm immoral? You think I'm doing something really wrong here? What's going on? And boy, the steam, this is when the steam starts coming out of my ears. So then she says, I will pay with cash. You can pay me back. And then I'm like, wow, she doesn't trust what I have to say. And then I tell, it's going to be fine, Mom. It's going to be fine. Just pull out your driver's license, show them you have the same last name. They're probably not going to give you any grief at all anyway. Just swipe the card. But she's worried about the police. And I'm like, wow, she doesn't even want to take any chances. She's just going to pay with cash. She's not going to touch my credit card with a 10-foot pole. She must think I am wrong. And wow, when I take the leap to I am wrong in my own mind, whoa, now I've gone to feeling ashamed, doubting myself, doubting who I am at my core. And when I feel that way, it's not pretty. So my mom goes to the store. And then after that, this is when I get to, in my mind, I'm not wrong. She's wrong. I'm not wrong. It's just a credit card, Mom. Geez, do you live under a rock? It's the 21st century. And you worked at a bank for years. How can you not know how to pay for groceries with a credit card? I go on and on. I justify my behavior. I justify my thinking. I'm defensive. I'm feeling like my own flesh and blood, my own mom thinks I'm wrong. And now I've turned it around how she's wrong. And how from all of that, the way I feel is angry, outraged, and attacking. I'm attacking her in my mind, and I'm just livid, and I will tell anyone who will listen, which I did. I complained about that for at least an hour after she left. But thankfully, I had been introduced to coaching, and I had been introduced to this concept that my thoughts cause my feelings. And my beliefs are just thoughts that I've thought over and over. And a feeling is just a vibration in my body. caused by a sentence that goes through my mind. So after about an hour of complaining, and it's like, okay, I want to feel better. I want to feel better. How do I do this? So I just started downloading, and I was able to find my way to peace, which I'm going to go to in the further steps. So step 3, to encapsulate the step 3, is to tell the story through my thoughts. So whatever situation, scenario that you have going on that's really frustrating, we tend to look at the circumstances, to what she said about the credit card, what I said about the credit card. We look at all the circumstances and we just say, well, my God, see, she thought the police were going to come. So how could I not feel like she was making a moral judgment about me? She thought the police were the come and cart her away. So if I just tell a story, if I come into where I can do something about it, which is in my skin and in my mind, and I tell the story through the thoughts that go through my head, then I'm going to have access to the pieces that I can change. So remember step 1? Step 1 is I want to feel good. Remember that I want to feel good. So if I want to feel good, what about mom? You know, we're not unique. We're both human beings, source energy, souls in a body, having a human experience on planet Earth. We got the same apparatus. And if I want to feel good, and I believe that all of you out there want to feel good, what about mom? That brings us to step 4. Realize and remember that mom wants to feel good too. Mom, she wants to feel good just as badly as we do. We may have different thoughts about what is going to feel good to us, and we will have our own unique thought prints, fingerprints, DNA of what does feel good to us. But at the basis, we all want to feel good. That includes daughters and that includes mothers. So everything we do is motivated by a desire to feel good, and vice versa. Everything our mothers do is motivated by a desire to feel good. But there's something we do that gets in the way of feeling good. And it looks a little something like this: putting words in our mom's mouth. It's all kind of a version of that. We put thoughts in her head. We think we know what she's thinking. We interpret what she says. We interpret tone of voice. Oh, if she said it that way, it means something. We listen to inflection and timing. We assume when we know she's insinuating something by the way she said it, or when she said it, or if she didn't say it. We interpret hidden or veiled meaning. We look at facial gestures, body language, and we interpret, and we imagine her words are an indictment of our character. And this is a profoundly painful use of imagination. Your imagination is way more valuable and powerful to use it to prove that your mom is making an indictment of your character and proving something about who you really are. Don't use your imaginations for that, ladies. We put words in our mom's mouth by thinking she is acting against us. If you try this, if you just go into a place and you think like the person at Starbucks that is getting your coffee or tea order or whatever you're ordering is against you, it's totally different if you think they're totally for you or they're totally against us. And you yourself can create a completely different experience just by imagining it that way. So when we think she's acting against us, we don't see how she is acting for herself. She's trying to feel good. And a lot of us are trying to feel good in very misguided ways. I mean, some of us use alcohol, overspending, overeating, oversexing, overworking, overmothering. We use all kinds of ways to feel better, and they're misguided. A lot of times they don't wind up with the intended purpose. But in each case, even while misguided, we, as she is, are acting for ourselves. We also hold the belief that our interpretation is accurate. The way that we see the situation is accurate. And we don't consider whether our viewpoint, perchance, is simply that, our viewpoint, and not accurate. Just because we see it a certain way doesn't necessarily mean it's that way. Remember, we thought the earth was flat at one time, and that was inaccurate, but we thought it, we all believed it. I think the people who suggested that it was round were tried as heretics, or considered at least to be heretical. So can we be certain our viewpoint is accurate? It just might be possible that all those words we're putting into our mother's mouths might not be true. So I want to introduce the possibility of uncertainty. And I have an image here of the great and mighty Oz from The Wizard of Oz. And we all know that who they thought was the great and mighty Oz turned out to be a man behind a curtain. And so just because, I'm going to give you a quote here from Janine Roth, just because we form an opinion about ourselves or anyone else doesn't mean it is true. And I have proven that to myself over and over and over again. And everything that I'm saying to you, if it has any ring of truth at all, you never, ever, do not take my word for it. Prove it to yourself. Try it. Try any of these ideas, any of these steps. See if it holds true for you. Don't take my word for it. So just because we think we know what our mothers really mean by what they're saying doesn't mean we do. And I have to say, in my relationship with my guy, I cannot tell you how many words I put into his mouth and his mind, how many thoughts I put into his mind, and how many times when I check, I have caused him a lot of grief by the words that I put in his mouth and the thoughts that I put in his mind. And it's not helpful. It's not helpful. But boy, did I think I knew what he really meant. So just because we think we know what any other person really means by what they're saying or doing doesn't mean we do. Just, if you can't be certain, then, why make it painful for yourself? So just because we think a thought doesn't mean it's true as well. I've had a lot, this is a quote from Mark Twain. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. And I think you can relate to that too. If you've ever worried about something, boy, worry can just go on 24/7. And the majority of what we worry about never comes close to happening. And the worry itself, it's not helpful. If any of those things that we worry about actually happen, the thing that helps is probably some form of action, but not hours and hours and hours of worry. So I always love this quote from Mark Twain. Okay, so step 5, to encapsulate step 5, is to realize I cannot be certain of her thoughts. So here's the next concept, the benefit of the doubt. And I looked it up in dictionary.com, and excuse me, I went backwards. The benefit of the doubt is defined as a favorable opinion or judgment despite uncertainty. And that's from dictionary.com. A favorable opinion or judgment despite uncertainty. So I'm going to introduce a concept that I've come up with, which is called the pain of the doubt. And the C.J. Blaquera definition of the pain of the doubt is an unfavorable opinion or judgment despite uncertainty. Pain of the doubt, an unfavorable opinion or judgment despite uncertainty. And I'm just telling you that you cannot know, prove it to yourself. How many people have misinterpreted what you meant, have misinterpreted your face, have misinterpreted your body language, have misinterpreted the lack of your response via email, have misinterpreted the duration of time that it took you to call back from a voicemail, have misinterpreted any number of your actions or words and your intentions. And so despite the uncertainty of knowing exactly what you thought, they were actually seeing it through the pain of the doubt. They were giving an unfavorable opinion or judgment. So we've probably all been on the other side of it. Now, a lot of times with our moms, we're the ones, choosing the pain of the doubt instead of the benefit of the doubt. So there's 2 ways to view the situation. Benefit of the doubt or pain of the doubt. Two ways to view your mom: benefit of the doubt or pain of the doubt. And I took the first three letters of benefit of the doubt, B-O-D, bod, in your bod, in your body, in your skin, in your skin. You get to feel good, or at the very least, better than the pain of the doubt viewpoint in your own body. This is how you prove it to yourself, when you give someone the benefit of the doubt. Now, Chris Carr of Crazy Sexy Cancer fame, she calls her body her God pod, P-O-D, God pod. And so pain of the doubt is your P-O-D, it's your pod. And in your pod, when you give the pain of the doubt, you get to feel crap-tastic, or at least worse than the benefit of the doubt viewpoint. Okay? Benefit of the doubt, I hope you can see, feels much better than the pain of the doubt viewpoint. So step 6 is to give the benefit of the doubt so I benefit. The benefit of the doubt is not for them. It's not for their body. It's not for their pod. It's for you, so you benefit in your own skin. When we give the benefit of the doubt, we get the benefit. So let's look at my story with me giving my mother the benefit of the doubt. And this is what happened, as I said, after a year of coaching and working on my weight and realizing that she was very integrally tied to my my life and my weight. I looked at what she said and I took it at face value. So we're going to look at the situation through the thoughts, and step 7, we're going to tie it to step 7, which is to take what is said at face value. Life becomes a lot simpler when you take it at face value without adding what I think she really means, in air quotes, what she really means into the mix. So we don't want to do that. Okay, let's not add in what she really means, what we think she really means. It's very uncertain what she might really be meaning into the mix. So my mom says, how do I use a credit card to pay for groceries? These groceries that she's helping me out with by running this errand. Now what do I think? She wants to know how to do this. So I feel helpful. Oh my gosh, she's just, I don't know why, but she wants to know how to, she simply wants to know how to use a credit card to pay for groceries. There's an answer for that. There's an answer for that. I have it. I can give her the answer. Then she says, but the credit card has your name on it. Oh, so now I'm just going to take her at face value. She doesn't think you can use a credit card without your own name on it. How do I feel? Helpful. I'm going to probably lead into the, oh, I have an answer for her. I can answer that question for her. Then she says, isn't that going to send up red flags? So if I take that question at face value, now I'm getting the indication she thinks she might get in trouble for doing something wrong. Now, I don't like to get in trouble for doing something wrong, but what I know about my mom is she don't like to get in trouble for doing something wrong. So I'm just going to take it at face value, and now I'm starting to feel understanding. Oh, I can just see that she's not interested in any red flags. I can understand her not being interested in red flags. Then when she says, I don't want them to call the police, I just take it at face value. She doesn't want them to call the police. That's completely understandable. I don't want anyone to call the police on me for any reason either. So I'm empathetic. I can understand based on what she said. And she says, I will pay with cash. You can pay me back. Oh, she wants to pay with cash. And hey, it's my errand. She's here. So I wound up just giving her the cash. So instead of thinking thinks that I'm some completely immoral crime syndicate, crime ring boss who has her mom use a credit card with a different name on it, all I do is take it at face value and, oh, she wants to pay with cash. Give her the cash. Again, I'm just feeling understanding and helpful. Okay, let me help this move along. She goes to the store. Then I can just, wow, her actions, face value, she's willing to take her time to help me out with an errand. I'm so glad she's helping me out. And then how do I get to feel? Appreciative. Now, the way that this slide ended up the last time was like defensive, attacking, and angry. And how do I get to feel now? How do I feel? How do I feel in that? If I could do a redo, if I could do a do-over, a mom do-over, how do I feel? I feel so calm. I feel, in comparison to the way that I did feel, which was steam coming out of my ears, livid, incensed, and then having to turn it back around on her and attack her, I feel peaceful. I have not gone cray-cray in my own head with my own thoughts, making me crazy and having the blood boil. So the benefit of the doubt feels better to me than the pain of the doubt. It's a much better feeling. So if I take seriously step one, that I have a desire to feel good, then the best option is to give the benefit of the doubt and take things at face value. And there is always the possibility of uncertainty. So when I give the benefit of the doubt, I get the benefit. So the last step, before I go on to the last step, I just want to tell you the story of a woman who was walking along a street and fell into a very deep hole. And she struggled to get out, but she just could not find any way out. So she started to yell for help. And eventually someone looked over the edge from above and, seeing the woman in distress, said, "I'm so sorry, I'd love to help, but I don't have a ladder." And she left to go find some help. So the woman keeps yelling for help. And another person eventually looked over the edge and, seeing the woman in distress, says, "Hang on, I'll go find a rope." Meanwhile, the woman keeps yelling for help, and a woman looks over the edge and jumps into the hole with her. And the woman who's been in the hole all along says, "Why did you do that? Why didn't you stay up there where you could find some way to help?" And the woman who jumped in says, "I've been in here before. I know the way out." And at the end of this call, you're going to have the friction to freedom formula. But because the belief that your mom is causing your pain is probably so well worn and elaborate and deeply ingrained, letting go of that can be mind boggling. And I've been in that hole and I know how to get out. And if you want to take your level of peace with your mom to the next level, or you are a smart, strong, high achieving woman who struggles with her weight and you're tired of feeling like a failure because you can't seem to control this area of your life, this is the work I do. And people ask me all the time, "CJ, how do I lose weight the fastest?" And my feedback to them is, forget fast, focus on permanent. So I work with just a few women one-on-one at a time, and I have just 7 spaces open right now. And if you're open to seeing if you're a good fit for my Art of Weight Loss Mastery VIP program, go to cjblaquera.com/discovery, and you can book your discovery session, and we can see if it's a good fit. Again, that's my name, CJ Blaquera, B as in boy, LAQUERA.com/discovery. All right. So the last step is waiting for update. Okay. This is Henry Ford of Ford Motor Company. And what he said was, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So step 8 is to remember that I create my reality. I will be right about whatever I choose to believe. So whether you think your mother does blank or does not blank, you're right. And what I mean by that is, whether you think your mom criticizes or does not criticize, you're right. Whether you think your mother loves you or does not love you, you're right. Because when you think your mom is criticizing you, she just might be saying a sentence. She just might be saying words. And it's our belief that it's criticism and judgment and an indictment and an insinuation that's so painful. So if you think your mother is insinuating or is not insinuating, you're right. Whether you think your mother accepts you or does not accept you, you're right. Whether you think your mother supports you or does not support you, you're right. Whether you think your mother harms you or does not harm you, you're right. Whether you think you can or can't have freedom around your mom, you're right. So to recap, the 8 steps to freedom from friction is to 1, realize that I want to feel good. 2, realize that how I feel is created by how I think. 3, tell the story through my thoughts. And this is going to give me access to my own thinking, which is producing my own feelings, creating my own feelings, and it sees what not only that I'm causing it, but what I'm causing myself to feel and to find the root of it. 4, realize that mom wants to feel good too. She's just, and usually making our daughters miserable. I don't have children, but making other people feel miserable is not what feels good to people. Step 5, realize I cannot be certain of her thoughts, let alone anyone else on the planet. Sometimes it's pretty hard to even be certain of what our own thoughts are. So let's just step away from thinking we're so certain about what she thinks and means and believes. Step 6, give the benefit of the doubt so I get the benefit. The alternative to the benefit of the doubt is the pain of the doubt. 7, take what is said at face value. Let's get all the baggage of what we think she's insinuating, what the hidden veiled meanings are. And if you see in the simplicity of my example, how much better I felt once I revisited what had happened an hour earlier and I just took it at face value. And what I went to is like no harm, no foul. If my mom wants to pay with cash, no harm. What's really going on there? Why is there steam coming out of my ears? It's really not that big of a deal. But when I think she's saying that I am wrong and I'm immoral and I'm a criminal and that I would intentionally put her in harm's way, which must mean that I am the most horrible daughter ever, that's going to feel pretty painful to me. So take what is said at face value. And step 8, realize I create my own reality. I will be right about whatever I believe. So if you think of the mind as like a Google search engine, and if you put in, mom thinks let's see, what are we going to put in? Mom thinks I'm doing it wrong. You're going to get back search results for that. But if you put in mom thinks I'm doing it right, or mom supports me, or mom accepts me, or mom loves me, or at the very least, I'll bet my mom doesn't want to hurt me, or even at least I know my mom wants to feel good, you're going to get back different results. So we put something into the search engine of our mind, we're going to selectively see and interpret the world in a way that causes us to prove what we believe true and to be right about it. I will in a moment unmute the line if you have any questions about anything. So just remember, we all want to feel good, mothers and daughters alike, and actually everyone on the planet. So is there anyone that has any questions? I will be offering more virtual classes like this, as well as some in-person classes in Los Angeles, the west side of Los Angeles. And in June, I will have a class on fathers. And I have so much more to say about mothers and daughters that I can't wait to share. I just had coffee with a friend of mine, and she just her experience as a mother and with her son is just helping shine the light on my next step. So there's more coming. If you'd like to receive updates, go to my website and sign up to receive notifications. Again, that's cjblaquera.com. And I also speak as well. So if you'd like for me to speak at your company or for your audience, or you have any questions about today's class, please contact me at cj@cjblaquera.com. And I really thank you for taking this time out of your Saturday morning. The mother, daughter, child, parent relationship is such a unique invitation to really become the people who create our lives exactly and precisely the way that we want to create them. So thank you for your time. And it looks like we don't have any questions, so I will leave it there. And I will look forward to seeing you in your inbox or on the next class, or maybe in person someday. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.